And they saw that every time Hamas killed an Israeli, they shouted Allahu Akbar. What really started to make the Muslim world angry against Israel was the overwhelming Israeli response. The October 7th Hamas attack shocked the world, including the Muslim community, because the Muslim community do not support terrorism and extremism, and they saw that every time Hamas killed an Israeli, they shouted Allahu Akbar, and the Muslim world don't want that. Instead of having a more measured, more targeted, more surgical response, Israel used force, and their overwhelming force generated so much of civilian deaths and injuries on the part of Palestine. I believe that a tiny segment of the Muslims who are mostly vulnerable and susceptible to the daily images they see of Palestinian civilians being killed, especially children being killed, they will drift towards extremism and terrorism, and they will stage terrorist attacks. They have become very politicized and radicalized and mobilized to the point of mounting attacks. So we have seen a number of terrorist attacks conducted in North America, in Europe, and in Asia, where those who mounted the attacks cited that they were angered by the deaths in the Muslim world, but specifically referring to the conflict in Gaza. So we have seen terrorist attacks being mounted in the last 3 months against not only Israel, but allies and friends of Israel, meaning the Western world. These numbers will increase over time because it takes time for people to become radicalized, and eventually there will be more attacks, more frequent, more intense against the West, their allies and their friends. Israeli and Jewish targets will also be attacked because the radicalization is now surging, and both Al-Qaeda and ISIS, they have urged their supporters and followers to identify with the Muslim plight in Gaza and mount attacks.